Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's reading is person on your mind. What are they thinking about you, the situation at the moment? All right, we'll see what messages come through. So we have three groups today: group one, group two, and group three. Feel free to pause the video for a moment or two if you need some time to choose your group, but I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, welcome. If you've chosen the first group, then this reading could be for you, the person on your mind, people, whoever you're asking about, what are they thinking about you at the moment? All right, so to start off, we have the Four of Wands, Six of Pentacles, and the Three of Swords, all in the upright position. So what are they thinking about you? Okay, so something that they've been thinking about is that you are really positive, or they feel that you're being really positive about something in particular. They also think that you could be chilling out on them a little bit, that you're letting them maybe have their space or have their peace in some way. They've been thinking that your hard work is definitely paying off in a certain area of your life. They're thinking that there's not much going on between you both, but they could feel like this inactivity is necessary for the two of you, or maybe necessary for one of you, one or the other. But they do feel that this space could make the heart grow fonder. They do think you aren't happy about the space for some of you guys, but you're being positive about it, and they don't seem to be either happy or sad about the space. They could think it won't last for long, so they're kind of, riding it out. It may not be that much of a big deal for them because they know it's not permanent in their mind. And they're also thinking that you guys have a pretty strong foundation anyway. They've also been thinking that you've been very supportive of them, pushing them, encouraging them. But only take this next bit if it makes sense. But for some of you, they could think your support of them is a bit too much at times. It feels like they respect it, but they don't feel it's necessary, or it could be for another reason. But they also think that you are just trying to be helpful. Like, they obviously know that there's no bad intentions, when it comes to your support. But for some reason, they could feel bad when you do encourage them. It could sometimes make them feel like they can't do it. But they do think you have nothing but good intentions, and it actually seems like they would miss it if you did stop encouraging them. So I don't know, maybe they feel a bit conflicted about it. So it may be more of a them problem as opposed to your support, and then maybe thinking whether or not maybe they can do it. But they are also thinking about how grateful they are of you. They think you are an integral part of maybe your family, your friend group, work, or another community that you belong to. They also think that you are free from any struggles and challenges right now, and they sometimes feel that because of that, you don't appreciate their struggles or the struggles of other people. But at the same time, like, they feel like you need to enjoy this period of, calm relaxation. They also think that at some point they need to be more generous with you. That's something that they want to be able to do. So for some of you, they are thinking that they need your help, maybe materially, but they think it would be difficult to ask you for help in like a specific, in terms of something specific, especially if it is maybe financial or material help. For some of you, they could even think that you wouldn't want them to ask in the first place, even if that's not true. So they could also think that you're not the most giving person, but they do think that you are fair. They could also think that their relationship to you could potentially end up hurting them for some reason. And in some way, like, I don't know if this will make sense for you and the person you're asking about, but they could think that you've already betrayed them in some way. And for some of you, like, they could feel this way because you are or you have been, I don't know if it's current or like recent past or near future, but they could feel like you are exploring new opportunities. Clarified by the Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. So it could be money related for some of you. This opportunity that they feel you are exploring could be money related. Could be some other kind of opportunity as well. And so another thing is that they do think you don't notice that they aren't feeling themselves, or that they're in a bit of a negative place or mindset, or just, feeling negative about something specific. But they also think that you don't want them putting their emotional stress onto you. Yeah. So moving on, we have you are being shady. We have money, make it rain, is what it says on the back. And we have life's purpose. We have clearing negativity. We have socialize or join in. We have elevator, rise above. And we also have cat, take care of yourself. And I will do these after. So please only take this if it makes sense. But for some of you, they think that you don't notice them being shady towards you, or being a bit negative or a bit off, or something else, in that area. But they think you are in such a good space right now that you don't even like notice, them being kind of off of you, or, or being a bit negative, or just them being negative or experiencing some kind of negativity in their own life. But they feel like you are in such a good place. And with money as well, like, they do think you are in maybe a good financial position, or they think that you have the opportunity to, like, make more money, or to kind of put yourself into a better financial position. Maybe they feel like you are you are or you will soon kind of experience more financial opportunities for yourself, but they kind of are looking at you as, you know, being well off or in a position, um, yeah, like in a position of maybe some kind of financial security or another form of security even. But like I mentioned at the start of the reading, like they do think you are very positive, and with elevate or rise above, like they do think you look at things from a higher point of view. Like they do think you are able to see like the positives in things, you know, whereas they might not feel the same way, if that makes sense. But they do think you have this positive and maybe optimistic kind of perspective on things, maybe even like a unique perspective on certain things as well. And with clearing negativity, like they do think you don't want to invite negativity in your life. So they could also think you found your life's purpose. They could think you're living your life's purpose. With the Nine of Pentacles coming out to clarify again, it's like they think you are in this, you know, sweet position almost. So with socialize or join in, like they may not think you're in this kind of position at the moment, but they do feel like you soon will be in, what would you call it? Like they feel like you soon will be in a period of, you know, socializing more than you currently do. They feel like you soon will be making healthy connections or being a part of, you know, groups and, you know, different communities and stuff like that. So yeah, they do think you are headed towards a more social period. But with cat, take care of yourself. They do think that you may need to take care of yourself a bit more than you currently do. Okay. So finally, we have victim, we have non-competitive, we have doubtful, and we also have serious. So victim is clarified by both Five of Swords and the Six of Swords. In some way, they could think you are a victim or you have been a victim. They either feel like you are moving past it. For some of you, they could feel like you have avoided it or you're trying to avoid it. And they could think you haven't properly healed from something. With non-competitive, they think of you as someone that isn't very competitive. So with doubtful, they could also think that you are quite doubtful of them when it comes to you. They could feel like you're doubtful about other things concerning them as well. But it does feel like it's mainly concerning you. They could think that you think they are indecisive, conflicted about you or certain parts of your relationship, and they do think that you want them to be a bit more serious about certain things as well. But that is all I have, though, for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best, okay? Take care. Bye. Hello, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, then this reading could be for you. The person on your mind, what are they thinking about you at the moment? Okay. So the person that you're asking about, it feels like they're thinking that you are contemplating about them, trying to figure out your next move. They think you are trying to figure them out, figure out their intentions, or, something else that you could be more aware of. And at the moment, they do think you are feeling disconnected from them, but they could think you're feeling disconnected from a lot of people, to be honest. They do think you're feeling apathetic towards certain people right now, or just feeling a bit apathetic in general, or with, certain areas of your life. They could think you're being kind of self-absorbed for some of you at this moment, that you're not seeing outside of yourself or outside of your own bubble, and that they do think you're shutting yourself off and that it might cause problems for you later, or they think you'll end up missing out, missing out on certain opportunities, maybe on certain people, and they could think that you being apathetic or feeling this way, that you are negatively impacting a certain environment. They could think you're feeling bored at the minute. Not necessarily bored with them, maybe you're bored in your own life or with certain people or in, certain environments. They do think that you need to stop being so pessimistic and disengaging from people or conversations or something else you're more aware of. Like, they do think you're tired, they do think you're drained, maybe feeling a bit sluggish, and they do feel that you're not making an effort or not having the motivation to do so, or just not having the motivation in certain areas. And they do feel that it could be stemming from something deeper, that deeper than, they could be aware of. Maybe even deeper than you could be aware of. But they do think that you are due a new start. They could think that you're waiting on a new start. And at the moment, they kind of feel that you guys need to hit restart in your relationship instead of potentially throwing away any hard work that you guys have already been putting in to your relationship. So they also think that you need to have more love and compassion for them. They actually think you're normally quite a loving, kind, accepting, and generous person. But for some of you, they could think you're kind of done being the nice guy almost. They think you are deeply spiritual and normally a very positive and happy and high vibrational person. and that you normally have a very beautiful aura. But at the moment, they do think you are drained, perhaps drained socially or in other ways as well. They also think that you are healing from things that they are unaware of. They think you want new emotional experiences or just new experiences in general. They also think you are looking for genuine connection, you know? And they do think you're typically quite a trusting person, but they feel that you might want to change that about yourself. And for some of you, they've been thinking that you need to forgive someone. They do feel that you've been bottling up your emotions and that you need to let it go. They could think that you need to be vulnerable with them or someone else. Like find a shoulder to cry on almost. Doesn't have to be literal crying, could just be like expressing yourself and getting something off your chest. So they could also think that you need to be gentler with someone, maybe take it easy on them. Like they think you could be losing the comfort you used to offer. And they also think that you need to renew your trust in them. But other than them feeling like you're going through, this kind of apathetic period right now, this disengaged kind of period, they also think you are, normally and generally quite down to earth and very beautiful. So moving on, we have it's not everyone else's fault, it's yours. We have don't talk to anyone, don't look at anyone. And on the back, it says you need some alone time. We have ending a trauma. We have bathroom, flush away all that no longer serves you. We have cell phone, polish your communication skills. And we also have let yourself sparkle and shine. And busy times and multitasking. So with it's not everyone else's fault, it's yours. It feels like that's related to someone else, not them, but someone else. It feels like they think that there's someone or a few people that are putting their problems on to you. They could think that you're getting blamed for something that really has nothing to do with you. And with don't look at anyone, don't talk to anyone, like they do think you are disengaging. And they could think you're disengaging for the message that came up just now, being blamed for something that's not you, that's not your fault. Or like they could think you're disengaging because they could think that you are thinking that you being positive and you being helpful, supportive, or whatever it might be, and engaging is not working out for you, so they could think you are kind of deciding to take the other road. And with let yourself sparkle and shine, they think that's you're doing the opposite right now. They just think you're not in a good energy at the moment, that you're not letting yourself sparkle, not letting yourself shine. And yeah. And they could think that you need to let yourself stand out a bit more, maybe be in the spotlight or be confident, you know. So they think that you've, with bathroom flush away or that no longer serves you, they feel like you've already done that. They think that you've already gotten rid of things that you feel, that they think you feel doesn't serve you anymore. Like, say, for example, you used to be extremely kind and you realize that that really doesn't work for me, you know, and, you know, it benefits other people, but it doesn't benefit me. Like, it could be other things as well. But they think that you've already done that, kind of already got rid of things that, you know, just don't work for you anymore. Whether that's health, socially, um, personal habits, you know. And at the moment, they could think you are in this, I don't want to use the word trauma, but they could think you are in this state um, of maybe needing to heal. At the moment, they could think, you know, communication is off with cell phone. It says polish your communication skills. So they could feel like communication is off with you, or they feel like the way you're communicating at the moment is just a bit off and not what they are used to. And finally, with busy times and multitasking, they could feel that you have a lot going on. They could think that you are busy, that you are multitasking, that you do have a lot on your plate right now. And they kind of think that's what you are focused on, that you are kind of focused on your life and what is in front of you. And finally, we have frugal, we have attentive, we have opportunistic, strict, and perfectionist. So they could think you're strict, or you're just being a bit more strict at the moment, or maybe strict with yourself, strict with other people, strict with them, or just in certain areas of your life, kind of like being more um, like focused and more definite. And with frugal, this this doesn't feel like it's like about money or anything like that, but they could think you are, you know, cutting back, or they think you are holding back in some way. And with attentive, like they do still think of you as someone that is very attentive, even if you are kind of keeping it to yourself at the moment. Like they typically see you as someone that is quite attentive. They don't think you are opportunistic. They feel that maybe you need to be a bit more opportunistic, or um, like try and like not let opportunities pass you by. And with perfectionists, they could also think of you as a perfectionist as well. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I wish you the best, okay? Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, then this reading could be for you. I hope you guys are doing okay. So, the person on your mind, what are they thinking about you at the moment? Okay, so to start off, we have the Ten of Wands, upright, Six of Cups, upright, and Eight of Swords also upright. So at the moment, they could think that you are taking on too much responsibility, that you are maybe trying to keep everyone happy, but they could also think that extra hard work that you are taking on is unnecessary, but at the same time, they could think it's a good thing or think it's a good thing from your perspective, you know, or they think that you need to, figure it out for yourself. They also feel that you don't want them getting involved in your affairs. They could think that you are learning to say no more to some things or some people, which in their opinion is a good thing. But they do think you are taking on a lot. They also think that they are, that they should maybe take a step back or continue to do so if, that's something that's already occurring in your connection to them. They think that you don't want their advice or their input, but it doesn't really seem like they are going to stop, to be honest, like stop giving their input and stuff like that. They think eventually you will feel overburdened and overwhelmed, um, but at the same time, like they could think that you need to keep pushing forward. They think that your hard work will pay off eventually as well. But other than that, in a lot of ways, they do think you are still very sweet and innocent. They do feel like you have a very lovely, youthful energy. They also think that you want to go back in time. It could be with them, it could be in terms of other things as well, but they could feel you view the past fondly and they could think that you want to go back to the way things were. They definitely think things have changed between you guys, but even though they think that you want to go back in time, they don't think of you as living in the past. And they do think you're quite accepting of it too. It's like, yeah, I would love to go back to, those beautiful days, but I also understand that I can't. Like, they could think that you're in that kind of place. But they are thinking of reconnecting with you or doing something so that you guys will be closer again. But for some of you, they could think that they need to take a step back before they are able to reconnect with you in a certain way. Or they feel like maybe they need to take a step back in, like, say, for example, I'm always getting involved in your relationship, okay? So maybe I need to take a step back in that way. Or I'm always getting involved with your work, I need to take a step back in that way. So it could just be in certain areas they think they need to take a step back. But overall, when it comes to the two of you, like they do want to reconnect with you, or they do want to do something that brings you guys closer together. At the moment, like they do really miss the comfort you used to give them, or they just miss that comfortability between you guys, that familiarity between you guys. But they could think that you are content on just cherishing the good memories that you have of them, and other things as well, because they do feel that at the moment you don't want anything from them right now, you know but they do miss you being sweet to them, and they do think that you have more self-imposed boundaries on yourself than you once did. But at the same time, like they do think that you know what you're doing. So they could also think that you are a bit afraid at the moment of something. They could think you're worried, and they could also think that you could be feeling a little bit helpless right now as well. But yeah. So moving on, we have you look like a mess. We have stop talking. We have slow down to relax. We have balancing masculine and feminine energies. We have multifaceted. We have flying, arise and see a higher point of view. And we also have baby, reconnect with your innocence. So at the moment, they could actually think that you think they are a bit of a mess at the moment, or they're looking a bit of a mess. It might not be literally, it could be for some of you guys, but they could think you see them as a bit of a mess in other areas of their life. With stop talking, they think that you've stopped speaking to someone. This could be someone you maybe are friends with, were friends with, someone who was maybe an acquaintance to you, maybe someone that you found quite annoying, but they do think you've stopped talking to someone. But they think that you not speaking to this person hasn't really changed anything, if that makes sense. But with baby, similar to the message that came out before, like they do think of you as someone that is quite innocent. They do think of you as multifaceted as well, like they do think you have a lot of layers. And they also think that there's a lot of layers to a situation that you are currently going through. It could be related to some of the messages that came out earlier in the reading. It could be about something you are more aware of, but they realize that there are a lot of layers to something that you are dealing with or experiencing right now. So with slow down to relax, they do think that you need to slow down a bit. But again, like they think that you know what you're doing in terms of maybe moving a little faster or taking on a bit more than you should. Like they do think you know what you're doing. They do think you know what is best for yourself. What you know from their perspective on the outside looking in, they do think you need to slow down a bit. So with balancing masculine and feminine energies, they do think you are trying to find balance amongst the things that you do have, you know, going on right now. So for a lot of you here as well, they could think that you do both exhibit both masculine and feminine energies. So with arise, arise into your high point of view, they do think that you need to see their point of view a bit more often, or they think you need to see things from their perspective. It feels like it's mainly about their perspective as opposed to anyone else's. And finally, we have inhibited, imaginative, hypocritical, and frank. So with imaginative, they could think that you sometimes like imagine things, or they think that sometimes you do have this. So sometimes they think that you experience things that aren't real, if that makes sense. Like they could think, like, say for example, you have an interaction with someone. They could think sometimes you take away stuff that didn't actually happen or didn't actually happen the way you think it happened. So sometimes they could think that you are imagining things, even though that sounds not nice, but yeah. So sometimes they could think that you aren't being realistic. So with hypocritical, they don't think you are hypocritical in general. They could think you are being so when it comes to a particular situation or with a specific person and like a specific instance. And with frank, they do think that maybe they need to be a bit more frank with you, a bit more direct, assertive, and blunt when it comes to certain things. And with inhibited, they could think that you are a bit inhibited at the moment. And yeah, that is all I have. So for those of you who chose this group, and I'm wishing you the best. Okay, take care. Bye.